Hooah! Hooah! Welcome to Bauman's Breakdown. Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of a weak Pacino. I'm working on that one.
That was Pacino?
Yeah, that was terrible. I feel like we should start it over again, like maybe with like Matthew McConaughey or something, you know?
No, but you're a realist, so just, that's...
Jeez.
You're good.
His Pacino's not too good, man. It's all right. I mean, a guy can only do so much, you know what I'm saying?
It just makes me want to drink more coffee.
He can only do so much. Well, I just always remember that from, I think that was Scent of a Woman, which you still haven't seen. I don't know how you haven't seen that movie. With Chris O'Donnell?
You know what? I'm gonna go buy the movie Ted. Because I've already seen it in the movie theater. I thought it was funnier than hell. I'm going to buy it.
I just watched it last night. It's funny you mention that. My brother and his wife were in town this weekend, and they had never seen it. I was like, we have to rent this movie because it is friggin'
it's so bad,
hysterical.
But it's so funny.
Yeah, my mom didn't. She doesn't enjoy the sometimes some of the dirtier humor. She's like, Mike, this is awful. Like when the kids charging at him, the deranged kids charging at him, and he just punches him in the face and knocks him out. And he's like, somebody had to do it. And my mom was like, Mike, this is terrible. I was like, and then I was like, Mom, have a sense of humor. I didn't miss a beat. But anyway, folks, yes, this is Mike Bauman of Bauman's Breakdown. Sorry, I don't have a good Pacino. All right, so sue me, okay? Sue me. But yeah, man, I'm excited to be back again with you guys this week. And I overslept today, so
so you've put my day in jeopardy. So
now
all those in jeopardy, baby.
That's a friggin' awesome song. I haven't heard that in forever.
Greg Kinn Band.
Jeopardy. That's who sings that. That's an awesome song.
Greg Kinn,
That's some good stuff right there, buddy. But yeah, so actually, maybe it'll be a blessing in disguise because I might sound a little bit more energized. But yes, I did. I overslept. I worked all weekend, and then I'm still trying to work on breaking my night owl tendencies. Because those of you out there who are listening who work second shift, you know what that routine is like. You get off of work. And even though you just worked all day, you can't just go home and take a shower and go straight to bed. You're wired, and then you're up till, in my case, when I work till 11, I'm up till like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And even though this weekend I wasn't working my second shift hours, my brother and his wife were in town. Saturday night I had my buddy's bachelor party, except it wasn't really a bachelor party because his wife-to-be and all her friends were on the party bus with us. So it was fun, but it was also kind of one of those weekends that it was a long weekend. I'm happy I got to spend time with my brother and his wife, but yeah, so I am alive and well and in the flesh. And speaking of alive and well, I'm so excited for this week's episode because it is a short interview. This one's a quickie this week. Actually, this is the shortest interview that we've ever had on here. And in retrospect, he was such a cool guy and such a nice guy. I wish I would have, asked a few more questions and made it a little bit longer than what it ended up being. But for the content you are getting, I still think it is. It's going to translate well to this. And and instead of having an hour episode, you'll have a quick one. You can do it while you're jogging or running or running from, I don't know. Maybe you're at the park and you're running from your problems, so to speak. And then hopefully this interview will bring you back down to earth. I don't know.
That was deep.
It was deep. Well, because think about it. If you're exercising, you're compensating for something, right? I mean, it's more than just staying in shape. I mean,
that's true.
In my case, it's like it helps me with the mental focus and it helps you, bring you back down to earth a little bit and kind of you get those endorphins going and you relax a little bit. And, I need to get back into a routine. I used to do upper 2 days a week, lower 2 days a week, and then I would do stretching, and I've been not good about that lately. So that's my New Year's resolution, to get my skinny butt in shape. But anyway, I'm excited about this one because, as I was saying before, I derailed my own self. Normally it's Mikey doing that. By the way, Mike Jameson, he's here, everybody.
Good day to you.
Good day to you.
Yeah, that's it. Good day.
That's
happy holidays too.
Heck yeah, man. But this one, I was kind of, you'll be able to tell in the interview at the beginning, I said sort of like 3 times in the first question because I was kind of jittery. I was a little nervous about this one, and that is because I talked to a guy from a band that I have followed for a very, very long time, and I have a lot of respect for, and that is one Killswitch Engage. You know them, you love them. If you don't love them, I don't know what you're listening to. But Killswitch Engage came through Toledo as part of their tour for Alive or Just Breathing, which, as you all know, is the landmark album that really helped change the face of modern metal as we know it when it came out in 2002. And as you also know, former vocalist Howard Jones, they split ways with him at the beginning of the year pretty much in 2012. And it was, from everything that I've read and from what the guys said and what Howard said, it was kind of an amicable split. So definitely wish that dude well, because he's got one of the most amazing voices I've ever heard, and he's one of those guys that can scream, he can sing, and he brought so much to the table for Killswitch. So I hope whatever's going on with him that we will see him again somewhere behind the mic for somebody, and I'm sure we will. But Jesse came back into the band. Jesse Leach, who was part of Alive or Just Breathing, and penned a lot of what you hear on there, and had so much to do with where Killswitch inevitably ended up getting, which was at the top of the metal forefront, and at the turn of the century, pop punk and new metal were sort of what were reigning the day, and those guys came in and said, well, screw that, we're going to do our own thing, and lo and behold, they ended up not only treading their own path, but sort of forging a path for a lot of other people to follow. And there have been a lot of people who have taken sort of their song structure and the quote-unquote metalcore sound and incorporated it into their music. So it was really fun to talk to Mike D, the bassist for Killswitch Engage, for this particular story that I did for the Toledo Free Press. And as I said, man, he was so nice and so cordial. I wish I would have asked him a few more questions and tried to keep him longer. It was one of those things where we did the interview on the tour manager's phone, so I didn't know. It was like, I don't know how much battery this guy's got. Me, yeah. I worry about everything else, right. And I start thinking like, oh man, maybe I don't know if it's gonna last. I'll just try to. I'll ask everything that I definitely want for the story, and Mike was incredibly awesome, and they came through Toledo on December 9th, and it was quite the show. I did not get a chance to meet him in person. These guys are playing basically every night or every other night for Alive or Just Breathing. But this is the 10-year Annie, and they're doing a run right now with Shadows Fall and Decaro. And if you haven't had a chance to check it out, make sure you go to facebook.com/KillswitchEngage to check it out. But without further ado, I want to shut it the heck up and give you this puppy. Like I said, it's a quickie, but it's a goodie. This is Mike D, the bassist from Killswitch Engage. The first thing I want to ask you is just what's it been like within sort of the last year to sort of have, the changes you guys have had and sort of come in full circle with Alive or Just Breathing?
Right, well, we weren't sure what was going to happen with the band. Things were kind of up in the air. And then we started to try out for a new singer, and Jesse popped up and said he was real interested, so it made a lot of sense. So we got him in for a tryout, and he completely blew us away. It was better than we could have ever expected, and he was doing the Howard tunes, he was doing his tunes, everything sounded exactly like they needed to be. So we were overjoyed at that point that we could actually continue and still be a band and do this thing properly, and that was a major change right there. Then recording the new record, Jesse really came with all guns a-blazing, so we're super stoked. Just finished all the vocals on that. And now we're out touring on the Alive or Just Breathing record, something that we wanted to do all year, but just didn't have the capacity to do, just based on the changing of the guards and whatnot and the record that was going on. But it was something that we knew we had to do before the end of the year. We wanted to at least give it back to some of the fans that were really into that record and that still remembered us from back then. So now we're out in this tour, and things are going completely amazingly well. There's lots of stage dives and crazy picking going on. It reminds me of being in an old school hardcore band from the 90s. So it's there's smiles all around from all the band members, and we're just having the best time we've had in years. And that's a lot to say, being around for 13 of them.
Yeah, when Howard left, was Jesse at the top of the list for you guys, or was it just a matter of making sure he was ready to go through this full go with you guys? I mean, how did that really come about? As far as I know you mentioned the auditions, he blew you guys away, but was it just a matter of having him be in a position where he was ready to do this sort of full time again?
Well, it was more, are we going to say yes to Jesse, and then there might have been somebody else that we didn't try out that could have worked fit better. We just weren't sure. There's the whole Jesse singing Howard stuff. Could he do it? That whole thing in the back of our heads. I mean, once he did it in front of us and proved it, it was like, hell yeah, he can do it. But we just management put it the thought in our heads that we didn't want to leave any stone unturned. If there was any other options out there to at least try out. I mean, you don't bounce back from changing singers too many times. So we wanted to make this last choice the final one, and we wanted to make it the most appropriate one, even though the internet had already decided before we decided that Jesse was in the band, which is kind of funny, but I mean that's the way the internet works. But he just, when we got him in there, he wanted to try out too, which was kind of cool. We were holding tryouts in New York, and he's like, I want to do just like everybody else, and I want to get in there and show you guys what I got. We did tryouts all day long from 11 a.m. till about, around 4:30 or 5, Jesse came in, and we had already tried out a bunch of people, and we were just beat. We were just tired. We played the same 3 songs over and over and over and over and over again, and they didn't want to play them again. Jesse walked in the door and we proceeded to rack out, I think we blasted out like 14 tunes in a row, just kept going because it just felt right. It felt awesome. So hopefully the fans will know that the pride and the heart is back, and we are stoked to be performing again.
What was that like the first time you guys jammed together again? You mentioned you went from playing all day to having him come back. Was it just sort of that rejuvenation from the first song?
Yeah, it just felt comforting. It was very stiff with other people. Very goodness. I don't know if this guy's pulling this off, but we're going to continue with the tryout kind of thing, anyways. And went from that awkwardness to just like, oh man, this is the way it's supposed to sound, kind of thing.
When you got the ball rolling with Killswitch almost 15 years ago now, can you talk about sort of the landmark sound of what ended up being Alive or Just Breathing? So many bands and so many fans have really, attached themselves to that record and said how much it's meant to them, and even how much it's influenced, modern heavy music. Can you talk about sort of that collective of the bands at that time that you guys were a part of, and how that sound came about?
Yeah, I mean, the original idea for Killswitch, especially the first record, was all of our bands that we came from, Overcast, Aftershock, Corinne, these bands had 10-minute, 12-minute epic songs, and we just wanted to strip everything down and do like 3-4-minute songs at the most, just really fast and in your face. So that's what we pulled off for the first record. And by the time the second one came around, we knew Roadrunner was interested, and it seemed like a farcical thing. We never thought a big label like that would ever be interested in a lowly little hardcore band like us. But they were interested nevertheless, and there was a giant new metal movement at the time, and they kept saying that we were kind of their last-ditch effort for metal, and they were just going to go all radio rock and stuff like that. So we said to ourselves, okay, we're most likely going to get dropped by this label anyways, because who knows why they signed us. Let's just make a record that we can be super proud of and play for our friends, and they can get off on it. And, we'll take our lumps. We'll put out one record with Roadrunner, and then that'll be it. And lo and behold, what came out of us turned into a career. So it was kind of rad that it caught on, but never that intentional. We just it was just a lot of aggression and frustration. We wanted to kind of just show off this thing that we were kind of developing.
How has recording the new record gone, especially with all the touring that you guys have done, obviously with Trespass America Festival, now jumping into this one with Shadows Fall and Icaro?
It's amazing. It's been going really well. Fans have embraced Jesse, and he'll show you nightly that he can pull off those Howard tunes like no other. pretty awesome. He's not doing karaoke, he's doing his own thing, which is pretty rad as well. And it's heartwarming to see how many people are really stoked on it and really happy with how we've turned this thing around.
When you heard the work that he did with Adam on Times of Grace, it kind of seemed like in the same breath of Elijah or Just Breathing in terms of being heavy and having sort of that uplifting element. Is that kind of what direction you guys are going for this next record?
That's his style. That's the way he writes no matter what. We're not going to force him into anything else. So, whatever comes out of Jesse is whatever comes out of Jesse. It's poetic. It's great. It doesn't have to be edited. It can bring tears to your eyes. It can make you laugh. We trust him fully with what he's doing. As far as if it sounds like that, no. It does not sound like that. It's really aggressive. We have been off the road for 2 years, and everyone's just writing some really fast, hard rock, hard metal material. So, no, it doesn't sound like that.
For you personally, what's it been like to see not only the success that you guys have had, but so many other New England area bands, even a band like Shadows Fall that you guys are doing this tour with, to see the influence that you guys have had on metal and heavy music and the success that you guys have brought to the table? What's it been like to know that you kind of came from that scene? And as you mentioned, you never thought that you guys would ever keep this going with Roadrunner. I mean, what's it been like, almost 15 years later now, to see the growth that's happened?
It's pretty mind-blowing. It's not something that I'd look back at yet. I think once it's over, you can really step back and kind of respect some of the trailblazing that happened between some of these Massachusetts bands, and it's very amazing going from the VFW halls with 20 people to playing Download with Metallica to 110,000. It's mind-blowing. It's sort of awkward to think about right now. Anyway, it'll do some weird stuff to you if you actually sit down and think about it. But I couldn't ask for a better job. At least I'm not at a desk planted somewhere, which is probably what I would be doing right now if I was just doing my graphic design. It's awesome to hang out with my buds every day and be on the road with some really great friends, and that part's awesome. As far as the influence goes, it's cool. It would be cooler if people could take the ball and run with it, maybe grow more with the sound, maybe do add their own thing to it, which I know it doesn't really happen so often, but when you do carbon copy bands, it tends to hurt the style a lot, which I have seen a lot of that going on, unfortunately. But hey, man, that's the way to grow is a bunch of carbon copies, and then someone will come up with something new and fresh and different. So hopefully that'll be happening soon.
You mentioned the artwork end of it. What has it been like for you personally to contribute so much to obviously Killswitch and so many other bands? And do you have any ideas rolling for what the new record's going to look like?
The new record's pretty much done at this point. As far as I just got to throw the lyrics down. We just finished compiling all that stuff. And, it was incredibly fun as usual. It's like this giant, all-encompassing artwork project for me. I was able to do real life items and take photos and then bring those into Photoshop and do stuff with them and just learn our balls around fire and burning things, which is really fun, especially at nighttime when you just layer through it and you just burning the crap out of everything you can find. That was pretty rad.
And the last thing I'll ask you, Mike, and thanks again for taking some time with me today, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
As far as the touring end is gone, I mean, I know you guys are pretty fresh into this Alive or Just Breathing cycle, but even going back to this summer when you guys were on that massive tour with all these bands, what was that like when you're going on stage every night and having the original lineup that you guys had from 10 years ago with Alive or Just Breathing? I mean, could you ever anticipated that you would come full circle like that again?
There was talk about it a long time ago that, man, oh man, when that 10-year anniversary hits, maybe we should think about doing something like this. And it's actually happened. You'll see a lot of happy faces on stage. You'll see a lot of us smiling and having an amazingly fun time. Hopefully the crowd is doing the same, but I know that us 5 guys on stage are having a blast. And we really haven't had this great a time on stage in many, many years. So, if you're a fan of the band, you haven't seen us in a while, you you might want to check it out because you might just have as much fun as we are having, for sure.
Well, Mike, thanks again, man. I really appreciate you taking the time today, especially with as many towns as you guys are bouncing around to right now. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye. All right. That was Mike D from Killswitch Engage, everybody. Their bassist. If it weren't for him, you might not have had Killswitch Engage. He was the guy that pretty much got the ball rolling with that band back in 1999 in Massachusetts and helped find the right cast of characters from other area mass metal bands to help bring it together. And, man, it was, Mike, I mean, it's been a pretty good year for me personally, and it was so cool that this ended up happening for this interview because as soon as I saw that these guys were coming through Toledo, I jumped on it, and it's just when you get to do stuff like this, I mean, what I do is truly what I love to do, and I'm slowly and surely developing more and more courage to try to get my name out there. And
don't ever stop doing that. That's a good thing. Even if you aren't making money, obviously, look at me. You know, I'm doing what I want to do in life. You know, if I croak tomorrow, you know, I'd at least say, you know what, I got to do it my way.
And the crazy thing is that there was so much that just kind of fell into place even after this, just within like the last couple of weeks since I've, not even a couple of weeks really, since the story came out. The fact that Roadrunner shared it, the link to the story I did on Killswitch on their homepage was amazing. I thought that was incredibly cool. And it's just like, then talking to my bosses and at the holiday party and getting to see everybody with Toledo Free Press, and you mentioned the holiday season, like it's just, you know, and I've got some exciting stuff coming up for you guys on Bauman's Breakdown, so make sure you stay tuned. Like really, since that story, a lot of things have just kind of fallen into place more, and I think it's, for me personally, it's been awesome because, this year I have battled a lot with myself, being my own worst enemy and just thinking like, man, what, am I going to get where I want to go? And what am I, and I spend a lot of time thinking and not enough time just doing sometimes. Sometimes you guys, once again, I'm not going to get on my soapbox too much, because I'm a young dude and I still have a hell of a lot to learn about this life and this world. But sometimes you just got to do stuff. And in my case, like overanalyzing stuff as much as I do and thinking about things as much as I do, you spend so much time thinking, and it's just like, it's like being in a rocking chair, you know what I mean? When you worry, it's, you're moving, but you don't really get anywhere because you're not actually physically getting up and just saying, screw it, I'm just going to go for this. And so, when this opportunity came about, and it ended up working out, to be able to talk to Mike D from Killswitch, I was super, super excited. And I was really excited, too, because you hear from Adam a lot. You hear from, Jesse's been doing a ton of press now that he's back in the band. And so it's kind of nice to hear from somebody else in the band. And I thought that was cool for my story to have a little bit different perspective. And don't get me wrong, I love Adam and I love Jesse, and I think that they're awesome guys. But it was cool. It was cool to talk to Mike D because, I hadn't seen too many stories where he was the guy that whoever was doing the story, that's who they talked to. So it was cool to get a different perspective. And like I said, especially from Mike, he's one of the founding members of this band, and he's one of the guys that, really worked hard to make sure they had the right cast of characters from the get-go with Killswitch. And they've had a couple of different lineup changes, but through it all, they've really been able to keep it together. And I think it's because those guys have such a really, really close bond with one another. And getting a chance to see that live and in color in Toledo on December 9th when they were here was awesome, and just the energy that they bring to the stage. I have no idea how Adam plays the way that he plays, wearing short shorts and running around like a chicken with his head cut off. At one point during one of the songs, he took his guitar off, started doing push-ups on the stage. I mean, Mike D's running around. Just it's cool, Mike, because when you see these guys live, it's not like, all right, Mike D's stage left, Adam stage right, Jesse in the front, Justin in the back, Joel, take your spot. Like they all move around the entire stage. You know what I mean? And play to everybody. The crowd was into it. There was a pretty good crowd on hand at headliners, and that to me is cool to see it live, because it's like one of the things, as you guys just heard in the interview that Mike D told me, was, this is we are having so much fun playing right now and bringing these songs back, and that's what I was getting at. Just to start off this close is just that, life takes a lot of unexpected twists and turns, but if you believe in yourself and you believe in the abilities that you have, whatever it is, I really think that you can make something happen. I mean, when these guys put this record together, they had no idea that they'd be doing this 10 years later, much less be one of the most successful and influential metal bands on the planet. And for them to be where they are today and take a chance the way that they did and just make the music that they want to make, and then to see them do it in person and see how much fun they really have doing it, especially when you're playing a show, like I said, basically every night. This tour started in November, and they've basically been playing every day. And in a couple of weeks there, they maybe had a day off in between shows. But when you're doing this night after night after night after night, and you're getting on the bus and you're getting on the road,
right,
and you see these guys, after the show, just the mass amount of equipment that their roadies got to load up. It's just like, and for them to hit the stage the way that they did in Toledo and just absolutely deliver, it's really inspiring. So, like I said, even though it was a short interview today, I for you, those of you who are diehard Killswitch fans, I hope it was informative, and I hope for you it was nice to hear from Mike D. Like I said, man, I can't thank him enough. I don't know if he'll ever listen to this, but Mike, if you are, thank you so much for the interview. Thank you again, Amy from Roadrunner, for setting it up. She's been amazing and letting me not only use these for the podcast, but just setting up the interviews in general. As a smaller publication, she's always been cool about making sure that we get the press with a lot of these bands, and Trivium, Korn, and now these guys off of Roadrunner. So thank you so much, Amy. But yeah, that's why towards the end of the year here, I really wanted to give this one to you guys, because for diehard Killswitch fans, I knew that you hopefully would be excited to check it out. And by the way, the new album, it's going to be out in 2013, according to Jesse at the show. I think they're shooting for April, from what he said. So, and like I said, just being there, I didn't get a chance to meet any of the dudes from Killswitch in person. I think that they were pretty tunkered out at the end of the show. I mean, it was great. They opened with a couple of tracks off of The End of Heartache, went right into Alive or Just Breathing, played that in its entirety, and then closed with My Curse in The End of Heartache. It was amazing. But I got a chance to meet Matt and Brian from Shadows Fall, another mass metal band, and I got to talk to Brian for a little bit, and just incredibly nice guy. Brian was super cool. And then an up-and-coming band that I hope you guys check out, and that I hope to have on Bauman's Breakdown here soon, is Akaro, another mass metal band, and actually they have connections to Killswitch, because their drummer used to be the drummer in Overcast, which used to be a band that a couple of guys in Killswitch were in. So, it's just, all these guys are just like, they're like brothers, and you could see that energy on the out on the stage. And getting to talk to Matt after from Shadows Fall for a little bit, and just talking to him about music and everything. I mean, he was just a down to earth dude, and so was Brian, and so were Chris and Felipe from Akaro. Make sure you check them out. Their debut is called The Disease of Fear. I really think that that's going to be a band you're going to hear a lot more from in the next couple of years. But so, it was just, all I can say, it was just this big positive thing, and it felt really good to do the story. It felt amazing to have it be shared on Roadrunner's website. Thank you, Phil. You're awesome. And it's just humbling, because sometimes I think we get so wrapped up in our own crap that we forget, what really matters, and that's like the here and the now. You shouldn't really focus on what was, because you can only affect what is, and I'm trying to tell myself that every day now, as somebody who worries all the time, and as somebody who has battled some anxiety and panic attacks, and I really try to focus as much as I can on the present, and focus on the positive things that I have in my life. So it felt good to just have this happen, and have the opportunity to do this story, and the fact that these guys came through Toledo and killed it the way that they did, and the fact that Mike D was so cool when we talked. albeit briefly. It's nice to know that you can talk to people at that level. And I say it all the time to people when they're like, oh, you got to talk to so-and-so and so-and-so. And it's weird telling people what I do because I'm a modest guy and I'm not a name dropper. I'm not somebody that's like, oh, yeah, guess who I got to. I'll tell my buddies who are also huge metal fans like me who I got to talk to. You know what I mean? Because I know they'll be like, oh, wow. But I don't just walk up to people like, yeah, you know what I do? You know what I mean? Because it's not about that.
Right.
I do this because I friggin' love it. I love metal. I love music. And so when I get to do this kind of stuff, I just get geeked out about it. And I'm sure you can tell in the interview at the beginning, I was like, oh, so sort of. But man, I'm just ecstatic because it's just for me personally, this was a great way to kind of close out the year, to have a big story like this and have this kind of opportunity, and just all the positive things that have happened since then. Man, it's just been it's been good. The show's doing well. Thank you guys so much. I believe we're over 2,300 channel visits right now. On the baumansbreakdown.podbean.com, which is crazy. I'm happy that we're starting to develop a steady audience. So make sure you guys check it out. And thank you so much for the support. Once again, you can go to iTunes and subscribe it for free, which is great because it allows iTunes to track, how many users how many people are checking out the show. And also that way you never have to worry about missing one. And, there's going to be some cool stuff coming up, and I'm just so thrilled to finally get the ball rolling for this. Even for this for a while, me and Mike, I would talk to Mike about it all the time. I'm like, Mike, you know what? I think it'd be cool, man. I really think a podcast would be a good venue to kind of expand a little bit more on some of these interviews. So, and I think we made the right call, man.
Oh, definitely, most definitely. Except when you sleep in.
Well, I appreciate Mikey. Mike's had a lot to do with where I am too. He took a chance on me with the broadcasting stuff, sight unfreaking seen, man. You want to talk about faith and belief in somebody? He just told me to show up.
You're the best too.
2 years ago, over 2 years ago now, he just told me to show up, and I showed up, and we're still here. And I probably see you more than I see a lot of my friends.
Yep.
We do a lot of work together, and there's something to be said for that.
And it's getting better every week, everything. So
I'm forever indebted to Mr. Mike Jameson, and make sure you check out his check out his handiwork at ToledoSportsNetwork.com. Jameson's mobile music,
creative video imagery. Great Lakes Golf Today. The dude is Toledo Live, which is coming up. You'll be part of here little by little with our music show. So it's basically giving this one to you guys today, man. I just I was totally geeked out for this, as you can tell. And moreover, there's just so many positive things going on with this band right now, and I hope you check them out live. Make sure you go to facebook.com/Killswitch Engage. There's still a couple of tour dates left on this Alive or Just Breathing tour. I believe they're going to be with Periphery December 27th, 28th, and 29th, and Periphery is friggin' amazing. If you haven't checked their latest record out, make sure you do that, but those guys are going to be playing with them, and then I believe Killswitch is going to be in Europe at Soundwave, I want to say, or not Europe, excuse me. I believe Soundwave is Australia. Forgive me, folks. I'm a little tired this morning. And I slept in, so I accidentally slept in, so I'm running through stuff in my head right now, so forgive me. But no, they're going to be in Soundwave, which that's the big one in Australia, and if I'm wrong, I don't care. Email me, okay? Sue me, all right? But make sure you check them out, facebook.com/Killswitch Engage. And as I said, don't just check them out. Check out Shadows Fall, man. Their new record, Fire from the Sky. They're amazing guys. It's an amazing record. Facebook.com/Shadows Fall. Facebook.com/Periphery Band. Facebook.com/Official Acaro. Like I said, I talked to Chris and Felipe for a little bit from Acaro. They were awesome. They were hanging out after. It was their first national tour. They were signing stuff for people. They were amazing guys, and they're amazing musicians. Check out their debut, The Disease of Fear. Make sure you keep checking us out, too. ToledoSportsNetwork.com, ToledoFreePress.com. You can go over there and check out the stories that I've been doing. Even if you're not from Toledo, I do stuff, as you can tell, on people from all over the country that come through the area. So, I'm just so happy that this thing is going well so far, and I hope we can continue to build an audience. And
we're creeping in on Christmas now. I think when this airs, we will be officially 4 days out from Christmas. So whatever issues you guys have had in the year with whatever it is, whoever it is, just, you know what, squash it, man, because it's the holidays, and the most important thing is your family and the people you care about, because I don't give a damn who you are, how much money you make, where you're from. The only thing that all of us have at the end of the day when we put our heads to our respective pillows are what we believe in and who we care about, and that's the only thing that matters. So during this holiday season, I hope you keep that in mind. You know, life is very precious, as we all just unfortunately had to rediscover again with the horrible tragedy in Connecticut. To me, it's on a personal level. I in a lot of ways, I almost feel like it's almost worse than 9/11, what happened there, because we're doing this to ourselves, and it's a really sad, sickening thing to see. But if there's anything positive that can come out of that for all of us, the rest of us that still have all the people that we love, it's cherish every moment. Life is precious. And on that note, I just want to say thank you again, everybody. Check me out, Twitter, mbauman5, and stay tuned, man. We've got some cool stuff coming up before the end of the year here for Bauman's Breakdown. Thanks again to Killswitch. Thanks again, Mike D. You guys are awesome, and I really appreciate the time. And thank you for Mike, the tour manager, for setting up the interview as well. I really appreciate it. So thanks, everybody. BaumansBreakdown.podbean.com. Go to iTunes, type it in. It's free. Free. I don't know how many times I can say that. Thank you so much. I love you all. And remember, keep the faith and be kind to one another. Peace.